So we just got Legendary Duelists Season 3, which, being a reprint set, had a grand total of 4 new cards. Exciting times, I know. However, one of those cards was Harpie's Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fire Blast. Now I've built a Harpie deck before, and it could do some pretty interesting combos, but sadly with the Link 3 Simorg gone, a lot of those combos have since then died, and the deck profile is pretty outdated. So that's where this new card comes into play, breathing a breath of fresh air into the deck. Fire Blast has 3 effects. The first is just a bit of protection which probably won't ever matter at all. However, it's the second effect that matters a lot more. You see, as long as you control any level 6 or lower winged beast monster, it can special summon itself from the hand. That's kind of nice just as a free material, but then it has a third effect which actually makes it an interesting tech card. When sent from the field to the graveyard, it can actually just send any winged beast from your deck to the graveyard. Now, there aren't really any Harpies who benefit from this, but there is still a target that can help us. Can you guess who it might be? If you've paid any attention to the meta in the past year and a half or so, you might have guessed Nerval. While this isn't a full-on Harpie Tri-Brigade deck like last time, we can actually use Fire Blast to include a tiny little Tri-Brigade engine into the deck and cheat out some links. It's basically just free advantage while you link climb, so it's a pretty nice inclusion. However, it does have another application too. By being a Harpie, it can be summoned by Channeler even if you don't start with it in your hand, and then Channeler has the effect where she becomes a level 7 if a dragon is on the field. While this used to be good for Dracosac Turbo, it now has a few interesting targets like the Mind Hacker, or in our case more practical ones like Arsenal Falcon, which turns Channeler into a 1.5 card combo that turbos out an Appaloosa and a Cyber Dragon Infinity. So, want to see how all this fits into a deck? Let's take a look. Here's the deck. It's a little bit over 40 cards, 43 to be precise, but I'll be mentioning which cards you could possibly cut if you want to keep it down to 40. However, there are a few cards you don't really want to be seeing in your hand, so going a bit over 40 is actually fine. Let's start with the Harpies, and with a card that you might be wondering why it's at 3. You see, Vanilla Harpie Lady is an important tool for this deck, being both a free material with Unexpected Die, and an easy extender with Elegant Egotist. While most of your combos will go through 2 of them, having a third one means you can still do your combos if you start with one in your hand, letting it be the discard that you'll often need, or it can allow you to actually get some use out of Oracle or Feather Rest's effect to actually fight back next turn. For the effect monsters, we run 3 Perfumer, 3 Channeler, 3 Oracle, and 3 Fire Blast. Perfumer and Channeler are definitely 3 ofs, but you could cut down Oracle to 1 or 2 as well as Fire Blast itself. The thing is, they're both free summons most of the time, and they have some kind of bonus application each as well, so I'd say 3 is fine as well. Then we run a tiny Tri-Brigade package of 1 Fractal, Keras, and Nerval. When you link away Fire Blast, you'll send Nerval to either get Keras or Fractal, depending on what your hand's like. Whether you can summon Keras by discarding something, or just normal summon Fractal for another level 4 material. Then we have our trio of Dark Birds with Bora, Zephyros, and Singing Lanius. They're part of the combo to make a Cyber Dragon Infinity, while also having enough materials for an Appaloosa, and it's pretty easy to do, so I recommend keeping them. However, if you want to cut down on potential bricks, you can reduce it to just Singing Lanius, but that would involve summoning Weiss Strix with the Tri-Brigade's effect. Since you can't always do that, I preferred a more consistent but slightly brickier combo. Ultimately, it's up to your deck building style, and if you want to cut down on these, you might want to include a few more Tri-Brigades instead. Finally, an optional but pretty good card is Summon a Monk. It gets Channeler out of the deck, who can be full combo by herself, but also, since it discards a card, it can discard Hysteric Sign to search Feather Storm. Speaking of, Hysteric Sign is either extension by searching Elegant Egotist, or a Feather Storm searcher. At worst, you can destroy it with Tornado Dragon as long as you haven't used its other effect, and then you'll get the Feather Storm during your end phase. 3 Elegant Egotists are here for free extension, and then Feather Duster and Feather Rest can both be searched off of Hysteric Sign in the end phase, letting you make a push for game next turn. As further extension, we have an instant fusion and 2 ready fusions, with 1 or 2 Marvelous in the extra deck as a level 4 Winged Beast target. We also run 3 unexpected die for the vanilla Harpie ladies. Then Soul Shave Force is how you'll be making Cyber Dragon Infinity, and you'll be searching this card thanks to Wise Strix. Finally, you run 3 Feather Storm, both as hand trap protection on your turn as soon as you get any Harpie on the field, and pretty much as a turn skip if you resolve it during your opponent's turn. Finally, Revolt and then Beardrum in the extra deck are honestly both pretty optional, since it's hard to make good use of them properly. If you can though, it's obviously a very good card, so it can be worth running. Now for the extra deck, you actually have quite a few options. I'm running 2 Marvelous, but you can't get away with only 1. If you do cut the second one, just replace it by one of these Exusers. Cyber Slash is an okay card to combine with Feather Storm, bouncing whatever your opponent summons while then negating everything else. Tornado Dragon is for your own hysteric sign, while Alimbertion isn't too hard to make with 4 materials in order to search Feather Storm in an emergency. Since that is the strongest card in the deck, this is worth an inclusion I think, because as long as you can then get any Winged Beast, you could just set it and then pretty much win on your next turn. Then there's the Cider Infinity combo, with Arsenal Falcon, Force Strix and Wise Strix. We'll be seeing how that combo works soon. One of each Tri-Brigade monster should be enough, but a second Shirag could make your combo more flexible if you cut something else like the second Marvelous. Then Appaloosa is a regular for your end boards, Restvelga is a fairly good Winged Beast to help make Feather Storm live, and Harpie Conductor is basically just an emergency way to get a Harpie on the field if you're getting a Feather Storm search in the end phase but you didn't have any other Harpies on the field to be able to then use it from your hand next turn. So before we go into the combos, here's a few options. First of all, you could run some other rank 7s like Diablosis for some extra deck sniping, or Giant Eye for a monster steal going second. Lightning Chidori can also be pretty good going second since it targets a set back row and returns it to the deck, and then can also return a face-up card your opponent controls to the top of the deck. Finally, you can try and run a barrier statue, and if you do, try to get an Avramax on the field, hopefully with Masquerainer's protection. If you get Avramax out early, you can then try and make an Arsenal Falcon to summon barrier statues straight from your deck, but it's not really the most practical thing to do, so that's why I didn't include it. So now for the combos. I'll start off this section by showing the 1.5 card Channeler combo. But first, if you've been enjoying the video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. To start off, you'll need any Harpie card to discard from Channeler. It will summon Fire Blast from the deck, it'll become level 7, allowing you to make Arsenal Falcon. That gets you a Zephyros, and with those two, link into a Wise Strix. That summons Borrow the Spear from the deck, which Sephiroth can then bounce to summon itself. Borrow can then summon itself from the hand to make a Force Strix, which searches Singing Lanius. That triggers Wise Strix to get a Soul Shave Force. After summoning Lanius, make an Appaloosa, and then use Soul Shave to get yourself a Cyber Dragon Infinity, ending on 4 negates, one of which you'll be able to repeat every turn while stealing an opponent's monster. For the second combo, let's start with Summon a Monk discarding a Hysteric Sign. That will get you a Channeler, who discards another copy of itself for a Fire Blast. That allows Oracle to summon herself and activate, and then we'll play an extra Elegant Egotist. With all these materials, we can make a Cyber Slash Harpie Lady and a Restvelga, triggering Fire Blast to send Nerval. That gets us a Keras for next turn, then Oracle adds back an Elegant Egotist, and Hysteric Sign finally adds back Feather Duster, Feather Rest, and Feather Storm. On our opponent's turn, we'll be able to bounce the card while locking them out of monster effects. We can also banish something from their graveyard, and then we'll have a ton of cards ready for turn 3, which is one of this deck's selling points. This time we already have Feather Storm, so we can just focus on our combos. Using Die and Ready Fusion, we get out as many materials as we can, including our Oracle and Fire Blast. When we make a Restvelga, Fire Blast sends to Nerval, but since we haven't normal summoned, we can get a Fractal and summon him. He'll banish 2 for Wise Strix, before overlaying into Force Strix and searching Lanius. That will get us to Soul Shave Force, before making a 3 material Appaloosa and a Cyber Dragon Infinity. Thanks to our Link 3, we can also prevent all monster effects next turn thanks to Feather Storm. With this last one, let's incorporate that first combo into a full hand. Using Summoner Monk, we just get out a ton of extenders, and we have 2 level 7s so we can make an Arsenal Falcon. It summons Zephyros, and those two make a Ystrix who summons Bora. Zeph bounces that and then Bora summons itself back, and then we can make a Forstrix with them for the search. After getting the Soul Shave Force, we can link into a 4 material Appaloosa before using Elegant Egotist for Cyber Slash Harpie Lady and a Soul Shave Force for Cyber Dragon Infinity, ending on 5 negates and a bounce if your opponent ever activates a spell or a trap. So that's the deck. Will you give Harpies a try? Or are you still hoping that Simorgh will be unbanned one day? Tell me in the comments below, and while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Special thanks to my Tier 3 patron, Distran, as well as my Tier 2 patrons Jason Murat and Violet Rain. Thanks for watching!